This is the ArchiCAD tutorial you've been looking for. In today's video, we are breaking down ArchiCAD 26, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to use ArchiCAD from start to finish in hopefully less than 30 minutes. What's going on, guys? My name's Tomic. I'm a registered architect here in Western Australia, and today we are breaking down exactly how to create this 3D model in ArchiCAD 26. It's going to be relatively easy to follow along, so even if this is your very first time using ArchiCAD, be it ArchiCAD 26 or any of the former ArchiCAD products, you are going to be able to follow along here. So let's turn around to this brand new Mac Studio Ultra and get started with today's video. Welcome back to our first ArchiCAD 26 tutorial of the year with our very first log cabin that we're going to be redesigning. It is basically a very simple square with a roof and some cladding around it. However, it does have all of the basic architectural features that I'm able to teach you in ArchiCAD 26, so you can master this relatively quickly. Let's get started with the usual and press Control or Command 7 to open up our story settings. Here we want to define how tall our walls are and how tall each of our stories are. So first of all, we want to insert one below and we want to call this our footings. If I could spell, that would be much better. So our footings are always minus 172 millimeters approximately for the ground floor. Our first floor, looking at this image, is a loft style design. So what we actually want to do is we want to probably keep it about 2745. 2745 is your typical timber framing at 27 plus a 45 millimeter plate at the top of the wall to be able to structure our roof. Now, we don't have a first floor, so in this instance, we can go ahead and click delete story, and we do have a roof in play. I'm going to leave the next story height where it is. And what I'm going to do is unclick all of these elevation markers on the side, just because that's personal preference later down the track in your ArchiCAD journey. Now we can go ahead and press OK and delete anything that is coming up because we no longer need it. Now coming across to the right hand side of our screen, we're going to double click on the ground floor plan, and this is where we're going to start. What we see straight away is this is lifted on a decking platform. So we're going to start by actually drawing the outline of the house and then moving to the subfloor in this instance. Typically we'd start with the actual slab and then move up, but just to keep things simple and understand everything as we go step by step, we are going to start with the walls of the house. So looking at the walls, it is a very simple box shape. Like I said, what we want to do is come up to our wall tool up the top. We then want to make sure it is on our wall's external layer. We want to make sure we're using the outside face and that we're using the correct wall composite. I can see that this is a cladded home, so most likely it is a timber frame home, hence again why we went for 2745 in our story settings. What we want to do is come down all the way in our list till we find 90 millimeter insulated stud plasterboard. We want to select that wall material, and then we want to casually scroll across the page so we aren't dealing with those section and elevation markers anywhere. First, we want to click once and you're going to see your wall automatically start being created. Next, we can tap the P button on our keyboard, P for Peter, to flip that wall either way. Looking at it, it is a very, very small house. So what I'm going to do is hold Shift and then press the D button for David to actually start typing in a distance. I think the length of this wall is somewhere about 8 to 10 meters. So I'm going to type in 8,000, press OK, return, hold Shift, again, press D. I think it's probably about 4 meters to 5 meters wide. So let's start with 5 meters, and if we need to adjust, we can. Furthermore, we want to come once again, we want to do another 8 meters, press OK, and then finish off our walls. Now you'll see we've created 3 walls and not the 4th, because the 4th is obviously recessed. If I press escape and click on that wall system, you'll see it's all joined because we created it as one wall system. Next, what I want to do is hold the Option button or the Alt button, depending on what software you're on, and then create one more wall to join both of these together. Pressing escape, I can now click on that bottom wall, which is individual from the rest of the walls. Again, clicking on the bottom wall, Command or Control D, D for David, clicking once, holding Shift, pressing D again to dimension, and typing in 2000 to move our wall back to create exactly what we see here in this image. Now, more than likely what is happening is this wall here is not just one 90mm stud partition. So once again, we're gonna hold our option button, click once across. I'm gonna tap D for David, type in 300 and double click at the top to basically return and bulk out our wall frame. Now, so I don't have to repeat that exact same process, what I'm gonna do is click on that wall frame I've just created, Command M for mirror, find the center of our wall and our house, tap Option or Alt to be able to actually duplicate it, hold Shift and click again. Now, all of a sudden, within a couple of minutes, we have the outside perimeter of our entire design. And if I highlight all of those, click Command or Control T to open up our settings, we're going to be able to see that it is linked to our roof layer. It is 2745 high, and our materials are as per the actual wall composite. If we want to go ahead and adjust these, we can simply click on each of these, overwrite them to what we need, and link them if we want them all to be one specific material. Now, in this case, we're not going to go there just yet. What I'm going to come across to do is go to our marquee tool up the top. I'm going to select our thicker black line marquee so it selects everything on all layers. Click once, right click, show marquee in 3D. Double click your scroll wheel to automatically jump to the actual model that we've created. And you'll see in 3D, in a matter of moments, we've already done quite a lot. Coming back to our ground floor up the top and hitting escape button, we can continue working on this project. Now that we know the bounding boxes of the project, I can scroll out a little bit, press Command or Control down to go down one level, right click on my ground floor and click Show as Trace Reference. Now, as I suggested previously, we go to our slab tool. It looks like this building is sitting directly on the corners. So if we click once, expand all the way to the edge of our house, we can then click on our slab tool, select one of the outside edges and go to our offset edge. Looking at this, it looks like that decking only goes 1.5 meters forward. So we're going to type in 1.5. And again, it looks like it goes 1.5, maybe 2 on the side. So I'm simply just going to press 1.5 on the side. Repeating our marquee steps, we can once again quickly drag, show marquee, and we can see what we've created. We can see that our slab is actually lower than it needs to be. So I can click on my slab once, Command D, and lift it up once again. Now, if I wanted to, I can go into these settings, go Command T to open up all of our settings. I'm going to change it to a generic shell. I'm simply going to change this to timber, and then I'm going to override all of my settings straight away to provide a wood decking look. Now, I believe this is a wood oak look finish, so I'm simply going to click on wood light oak, press OK, click escape, and there we go. We have our decking created in a matter of seconds. If we wanted to once again go Command T for Tomic, open up all of those settings, we could go wood again, and we could change that to whatever wood we actually preferred. Let's say we wanted a pine look instead. There we go, we have a pine look. Very simple to change all of your materials in ArchiCAD 26. Now, as you see, we're starting to have the shell of this building. It's coming along quite nicely. So let's go back to our right-hand side, click on that ground floor, click the escape button. If you're new to architecture, ArchiCAD, or anything in the field, make sure you check out the links down below. davidtomic.com.au has some amazing downloads that are going to help you design and document in ArchiCAD. Below that, you'll also find a free Discord link where you can join a community of architects, architecture students, and many people in the field who are constantly collaborating and communicating to be better every single day. So enough of my rant, let's keep going on with this tutorial and zoom in a little bit. Next, what we're going to do is come back to our wall tool. We're going to change our wall from wall external to wall internal, and we're simply going to click a 90mm stud partition that isn't insulated, because that's just what I'm choosing to do. I don't need my inside walls insulated at all. It looks very, very simple through this picture. It basically looks like we have one wall at the back and we have a little hallway here. So what I would assume is we would have something along these lines, where we'd have a bathroom, a bedroom, and a small toilet somewhere in this little room. Now, I'm not gonna go into full details of creating everything. We're just gonna keep it very simple, bare bones, basic. So let's come up to our door tool. Let's open up those settings by clicking up the top or pressing Command T. Personally, everybody knows I hate these orange lines, so let's override everything and change it to black. Now we have a 900mm wide internal door that we can simply press OK on, and then we can simply drop that into our project as we see fit. So now we have 2 internal doors, swinging the correct way, showcasing what we need to show. If we tap escape, then we can actually come back into our object tool, open up the same settings in the same manner, and let's start by typing in toilet. Now I personally have 4D library, so I'll have a number of objects that you do not have, but we're going to be sticking to the typical ArchiCAD available library. Here we have the water closet 26, same scenario, let's make sure that's black, and then we're going to change our object material and change that to MEP plumbing, press OK, and let's drop our toilet into this situation. Again, selecting our toilet once, Command D to drag it back. We're allowed to move that as we see fit. Obviously, this door is either too large or the room is too small, so let's drop that door size to 800. Command D to move it down, and we have a much smaller door that is somewhat appropriate to our actual toilet size. Now, if we wanted to know how big that room is specifically, there's a number of ways we could do it. We could tap the M button on our keyboard for Mary to measure very quickly, or tap escape and come to our dimension tool on the side. Then we could simply click on 2 of our walls, right click OK, and show us the dimensions that we're actually working with. Now, if we don't like the size of this toilet, let's say this wall needs to be smaller. Let's press Command D, drag it across, hit where we're measuring from, and let's say we want to make it 900mm wide. Instead of having to do the maths in my head and actually calculating what I need to minus from 1184 down to 900, I can simply type in 900 and press the minus key, which will do the maths for me, 284. Pressing OK, now we have a 900 wide toilet suite. And if I do the same thing in this scenario here, let's say we want that to be 1600, we can quickly adjust everything we need to align our toilet exactly how it needs to be. Now you see that we've moved a couple of the walls and they aren't joined. There, we can simply click on one of these edges and adjust all the way across. Or if I press Control or Command Z, we can undo that. I can select those 2 walls, Command or Control I for igloo, and they will automatically link together. Now, if we come back into our object tool, let's go to our object tool. Let's type in bed, and we'll use one of the ArchiCAD 26 beds just as a standard default. Drop our bed in, Command D to move our bed. If we wanted it on this wall, we could simply do the Command D, move it to where it needs to be. If we want it on our other wall, Command E for elephant allows us to rotate. Click once, hold shift, click again, Command D, move it to the wall we would rather have it on. So personally, I believe Control Z puts it back to the space I need it to be. Now in this scenario, you would also need some sort of bathroom and some sort of vanity basin and shower to actually utilize this small house. And what we can see is it's too small to fit a good sized bathroom. So what I'm going to do is click once, select all of what we have just created, press Command D, let's push this up 1500mm and select our 3 walls that we previously created. Once again, Command I, Control I allows us to quickly join everything we need, and we can delete those dimensions at the same time. I can turn off my trace reference on the side here by toggling this on and off. If you do not see this trace reference, simply come across the window up the top, palettes, and trace and reference. Now, as you can see, that shower and bathroom still needs to be created, so let's click on this wall once. Let's duplicate it by clicking Command D and then tapping the Option button, and let's type in 1500mm for the purposes of argument. If I go Command I, we simply close off that space and we can include some sort of bathroom in this space. Coming back to our object tool, object settings, let's type in shower. We can use the shower cabin 26 in this example. Once again, make sure you get your layers on the correct layers. This isn't critical at this stage, but it is something that is good practice and a good habit to form from day one, because you are going to lose patience and your mind if you don't get your layers right once you start documenting all the way through to construction. Now, let's click OK. Let's drop our shower into this new bathroom that we've created. Let's press Command D, move it to where we need and adjust it so it is slightly bigger to the full size of that actual bathroom. Now, personally, I don't like the wall it sits on. I'm gonna press Command M for Mary, click in the middle and mirror that whole shower once again. Now, all we're missing in this design is a simple vanity. So once again, let's open up our object tool. Let's go to vanity and find ourselves a nice vanity unit. It doesn't have to be an overkill, but it really doesn't matter what it is because you can fine tune this however you see fit. I'm simply going to select that one for the time being, rotate it with Command or Control E, adjust it to where I need, and I'm going to make it about 1500 millimeters wide just to provide this room with a little bit of space. Now what you'll see is the room is still quite tight, it is still quite small, but at the end of the day, we want to utilize our space. So we can hold our Option key and try and place a door in here, but what you'll see is it's going to clash with that vanity because we've made this room quite small. So if we open up that door, Command T for Tom, let's type in pocket door. And what we're gonna get is a cavity slider pocket door. Now, once again, removing that orange straight away because I absolutely hate it. We can insert our pocket door, Command M to flip it to the correct rotation and direction we need it to go. And now instead of having a swing door that clashes with our vanity, we have a pocket door that allows us to actually utilize this space properly. Last but not least, I'm not gonna waste a ton of this space. So what I'm gonna simply do is adjust our vanity basin, make it a lot larger, and then I'm going to turn this into a small little walk-in robe. So once again, let's press Option on our door swing that in, Command T, Option, and we're going to type in opening. In this scenario, all we simply need is a simple door opening to cut that wall open. Press OK, and we'll see that we've automatically created an opening in our door that we can adjust to the right size. If we come back to our 3D marquee, we've done quite a lot. You'll see first of all that our decking hasn't been adjusted as our walls did, so we'll quickly adjust the edge of that one to align it to where it needs to be. Spinning around, we can see our full 3D model. We have our bathroom, our bedroom, and we have our small little walk-in robe. So we've created basically an entire home plate very quickly without having to do too many things multiple times over. Coming back to our ground floor plan, we can simply model in a small little kitchen here, and then we can model our deck and our door. Let's start by modeling some windows into this space. So if we come across to our window tool, open up our window settings, we can start by using a sliding door. A sliding door is what is showcased in this image. And again, I have the 4D options, which you will not have by default, but nonetheless, we can still use a typical sliding door. Now, in this instance, I'm gonna use this door here as my example. I'm gonna, again, click away that orange because it is horrendous. I'm gonna make it to 700 high. And for the width, I'm actually gonna determine that by placing it into our object first, and then adjusting as wide as it needs to be. Now we can open up those settings again by pressing Command or Control T, coming down to our model attributes, and then we can change our framework. So let's say this framework, we want it to be wood, we want it to be something like light oak. Automatically it changes everything to light oak. We still have our glass as clear. Let's press OK, come back to our 3D to see what we've just created. And there we go. We have this beautiful wood frame door already modeled very, very quickly. Coming back to our ground floor plan, we want to include some actual natural light into this space. So let's open up our window tool once again. Let's go to our sliding door. Let's type in window and let's scroll down until we find window 26. Now, clicking OK, we can drop one window 26 right here. Come into our 3D to see what it looks like. Well, first of all, it's too low, it's the wrong size. It is almost a sliding door. So we come back into our settings, we're gonna go fixed glass. Let's make it 1 meter by 1 meter to make it a simple square. And let's lift that 900 millimeters from the sill. Pressing OK, automatically it changes everything that we need, and it has thrown a nice window into our space that is simply a fixed panel of glass. Back to our ground floor plan, what I will do is highlight our entire bathroom and mirror that design so that we can actually introduce one more window in this space. If I duplicate that window along the side, select one of the hotspots and adjust the width of it to fit between our vanity and our wall, coming back into our 3D and panning around, we can select that window once again, drag that all the way down, and then look at it from the outside. Provides us with a beautiful, nice fixed frame window. Last but not least, we obviously have our bedroom, so we can easily duplicate this into our bedroom if we wanted to. open out the settings, we can change that to a sliding tilt turn, whatever kind of window we want. For the purposes of this design, I'm not going to worry about changing anything. I'm just simply going to leave the window there. Now, if we wanted to go ahead and create a kitchen, we could come into our objects once again, and we could start typing in cabinetry. And we have a variety of kitchen cabinetry islands. We can also type in cupboard to find a variety of different cupboards that we might be wanting to use. We can also type in cooktop. We can type in range hood. We can search for what we need, including fridges, freezers, microwave ovens, whatever we want to do to create that actual kitchen island bench. But now what I want to focus on is the actual roof structure and the outside of this building to make it look quite pretty. So if we press Command up, we go to our roof plan here on the side. We can right click our ground floor, go show as trace reference, and we'll see what we've created down below. Now to create a simple roof structure, let's go to our roof tool here on the right. We want to select a very simple roof style. We don't want to create a multifaceted hip and valley roof. So we just want to create one simple roof. The pitching point will be from the outside leaf in this scenario. And then we can go ahead, drag, drop, click, extend to where we need, Control or Command M to mirror, hold the Option or Alt button, adjust this secondary roof in line with the outside wall below. And then to connect these roofs perfectly in the middle, let's select one, hold Command, click on one edge, and repeat the same step to have those roof panes automatically join. Now, if I select both of these roof panes, we're going to see that it's 22 degrees. That is a very low pitch for what I'm seeing here. So I'm simply going to type in 45 degrees, go to 3D, and we are going to see we've very quickly created our roof. Now, obviously this roof looks horrible and ugly, so we want to make it look a lot prettier. And we have a huge gap in our entire building. So let's start with the simple elements. Control T, open up our roof. Let's go roof timber frame. That is most likely going to be a 190mm rafter, so we can adjust that. Next, we want to select all of our external walls. So if we click Option G or Alt G, we can group the walls that we previously created. Now that we have all of our external walls selected, we can press Alt G again to ungroup, which is going to allow us to extend that past the entire roof. If we simply right click anywhere on this project, go down to Connect, go Solid Element Operations, we're going to have a new little pop-up window. Automatically, we're going to have our target selected as the walls. We're going to tap Escape and select our two roof panes. We're going to hit the operator, add as operator button, and move down to subtract with upwards extrusion and hit execute. What you'll see is a small little error here. Basically, I did not align the edge of my roof perfectly with the edge of my wall, which means I was 10mm out. If I come back to my roof pane, select that roof, adjust that 10mm, and then come back into 3D, we'll see it automatically trims that space perfectly to how we need. So what we're now seeing is an almost finished product, but that roof pitch still looks a little bit too low compared to our image. Let's bump that up to 60 degrees, probably a little bit too high. 50 degrees might be bang on. Now we've come pretty close. There's only a few little finishing touches to go. Let's start by selecting the timber walls inside. So this is obviously timber, this is timber, and this is also timber. If we go to our Command T option settings, we can override everything in this scenario to make it light oak and press OK. Our roof panel also has light oak on the underside. So if we change this to light oak, press OK, we're starting to see the compilation come together. Next, we want to select our outside walls to create this black external cladding. Now, what you're going to notice is ArchiCAD does not have a default charred black timber look, which means we have to go ahead and do a little bit of an advanced maneuver to be able to introduce a new texture into this project. So what we want to do is we want to escape from that scenario. We want to come up to our window and our toolbars, and then we want to come down to attributes. Once again, another little pop-up menu will appear. Search for a charred black timber seamless texture. Find one that you like the most. This Adobe one is actually quite nice. So I'm simply just going to save that to my downloads. And then we're going to open up our material palette selection. So this is our surfaces model adjuster, and we're going to create a new surface texture. If we scroll down to wood, we already have a number of wood textures already created. So we want to use them as our base. Let's select the pine grain vertical and select the new button. We want to duplicate it. Let's just name this wood black charred and click OK. Now you're going to see it still looks identical to what we had before. If we first select the surface color, change that material to a little bit of black charred, and then we're going to find our actual material we've just saved. So let's go find that black material we've just added, click OK. Wait for that to load and then press OK once more. What we want to do is make sure that our wood texture that we've just imported is the same size as the actual texture. Otherwise it's going to look very skewed, very warped. Next, we're going to press OK, and then we're going to select all of the walls once again that need to go to this black material. Command T, open up our settings, type in wood, and we'll see we have our black charred timber we've created. Pressing OK, you're going to see it's come in automatically, but it's come in as a horizontal texture. So if we open up that surfaces again, rotate that 90 to 0, press OK, it'll go to the beautiful vertical we're looking for. If we then finally select our roof, Command T to open up those settings once more, and we override the two remaining textures to wood black charred, pressing OK, closing that setting there, we have our completed 3D architectural model. Anyway, that's all from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and want to see more great architectural content, especially around ArchiCAD, make sure you check out the playlist to the side of me. If you love the video, I'd appreciate it if you smash that subscribe button down below, and like always, I'll see you next Monday.